Well, here's downtown Phoenix. So we're looking south and now more over towards the southeast. You see a couple of the ASU downtown campus buildings in the foreground. Now we're looking east. That building there was built in the 1920s and was renovated a couple of years ago, turned into lofts. There are 2 bedrooms, and I believe that they've changed hands during recent transactions in the 155 a unit range. Now panning around to the north, building across the street beyond the parking lot is the Marquee Apartments that recently closed escrow for $44,000 a unit. That's on 2nd Avenue and Fillmore. The street here in the foreground is Fillmore. Again, that's looking towards the east. You'll see here that there is a chain link fence around a parking lot directly across the street here. Beyond that is the subject building, the 34 units, which is being rehabbed as we speak. So again, this is looking north. Now panning around to the west, looking west along Fillmore, and then the north-south street there is 3rd Avenue. Again, that taller apartment building in the foreground, the 3-story building, well, it's 2 and 3 stories, is the Marquee. And not visible in the picture, but beyond the Marquee is a redevelopment project that's going on, and I'm going to walk around this block to give you a feel for the area. So just panning back to show the proximity of downtown to the south. And that's looking east. And then I'm just going to take you up 3rd Avenue and again the building is just here on the right, previously called the Town Apartments, 34 units. Haven't really done too much to the landscaping yet. Obviously that's going to be one of the last things they do once they get all of their contractors off the job site. So obviously not the finished article yet. It's a brick construction building. You can see all of the I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the video, but all these windows are brand new. There was a question about parking. Looks like at the front here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11 here at the front. This is looking towards the marquee, so this is the back side of the marquee that sold for 44 a unit. And this building actually is in pretty bad shape. I'm not sure if it's visible from in this video, but all the wood fascia is extremely bad and rotted. Looks like they have older AC units. This is the building that is a tax credit deal. It's going to be completely rehabbed and turned into a senior housing rental. This is the back side of the subject building. You know, again, it's still very much a work in progress. But I'm going to lead you to the north end of the building. As far as parking, looks like there's another maybe 15 or 16 spaces here on the east side. But first of all, I just want to show you across here. This is on the back side of the marquee. There is this project on the north side of marquee. This is the development deal, and it actually looks, because they have this small lot here on the north side of the town apartments. So again, this is on the north side of the 34 units, and then looking to the northeast, I'm just going to walk you into the job site here. All the units are the same. They're 1-bedrooms. So there in the far corner, that's obviously going to be the kitchen, but they've taken literally everything out, and before they drywalled, all the plumbing and the wiring was replaced. Going into a bedroom, fairly small bedroom, but a nice sized closet as you come into the bedroom. And then this obviously will be the bathroom. Again, all of the windows are brand new. Actually, you can see up here where there is still finishing off with some of their wiring before they button up the building. So here we are on the second floor, looking southeast across the courtyard. Obviously downtown in the background. I think once it's done, this is going to be quite an attractive courtyard with a nice pool. Apparently all the equipment's going to be brand new, you know, along with everything else in the building. Here's a unit that has the flooring in already. Obviously hasn't been cleaned up, but kind of gives you a feel of what we're dealing with. Just walk into the south side of the building, and here's the view. Looks like they're beginning to get the boxes ready for the cabinetry in this one. You see they have the new ACs in here. So now I'm looking north across the courtyard. This is looking northwest, and I'm going to show you the development site just adjacent to the building to the northeast. We may get a good vantage point from here. So this is the small lot just north of the building. And I'm kind of guessing that that maybe possibly belongs to this main site here, which is a pretty big site. You know, I'm thinking it's maybe a 2-acre site. And as you can see, they're just putting the footings in, and then just immediately to the east you can see the north side of the Marquee Apartments, and then over there is 2nd Avenue. Coming out onto the south side again. I think there's one unit here where they're beginning to install the cabinets. Looks like they're doing the measuring. So yeah, they're working away. Here's one without the drywall done, just so you can get a feel for, you know, what they did. You know, they've put in R13 insulation. You know, they've reconfigured the layout of the units, and as you can see, they've put new wiring, plumbing throughout. But I think once this is said and done, this is going to be a neat living environment for the tenants. And then coming back out to the street, again looking east to the south. And then I'll just give you a little look at the front. Obviously nothing done yet with landscaping, but just so you can get a feel of what we're dealing with. You know, this will be kind of a nice entrance from 3rd Avenue. And I'm going to walk you up 3rd Avenue, directly across the street. There is a Salvation Army building. And then further along you've got kind of a mix of some residential, some of these large homes in this historic district. Some of them are used commercially for different businesses. A lot of them, though, have been turned into apartments. This is now looking back at the building to the south. The Marquee Apartments there, and that's looking east. And a small building north of the 34 units. Again, that's the redevelopment project behind the fencing there. And then here, another one of these quaint buildings that are just all the way through this neighborhood. I think this one is maybe used commercially, but wouldn't swear to it. That's a condo building right here. This is McKinley, 3rd Avenue, McKinley, and that sort of 10-story building is a condo deal. Beyond that, going further west on McKinley, is you can maybe see a kind of mustard coloured building there on the north side of the street beyond the 10-story building, and that's actually an apartment deal. It's actually a low-income apartment deal, affordable housing deal, and it's very, very nicely done. It's kind of high-end. And then here's another one of the sales comps, McKinley Court, which sold in August, I believe, for $40,600 a unit. And I see some roof tiles up there, so it looks like over the last 60 days they've done some stuff here. with the roof, and I wasn't familiar with the condition 2 months ago, but as of today it looks like it's in decent shape. You know, you've got to say that this is kind of a similar type asset to the 34 units as far as obviously location, because the 34 unit deal is just a couple of hundred yards down the street to the south. McKinley is 40 units. And that has basically a very similar layout. Everything kind of wrapped around a central courtyard. The only difference is with this deal, McKinley, they do not have a pool. This is looking to the north. You'll see there's even more stuff going on here. There's a project involving maybe a couple of the old vintage single family homes. Again, looking south, heading over now towards 2nd Avenue. Just some really neat architecture around here, this is about the only place in Phoenix that you'll see this. But again, another project here that's taking up, you know, maybe a quarter of a city block. Then heading back towards the redevelopment. Again, this is 2nd Avenue and McKinley. And then I'm just going to pop my head over the fence here so you can look south. You've got the Marquee Apartments, the 44 unit sales comp that is at the south end of this site. And then as we pan further around to the southwest, we've got the 34 units. And then through the trees there is the McKinley Court sales comp, obscured by the trees. Now looking north, again looking down 2nd Avenue. At the end of this street is Roosevelt that runs east-west, and then beyond it is Portland. And I'm not sure if you can see in this video, but between Roosevelt and Portland, here on 2nd Avenue, some really neat high-end multi-family and condo development. I'm going to keep hoofing it down here on 2nd Avenue. There's a couple of buildings that are relevant. Again, this is the one of the other projects across the street here on 2nd Avenue. But this is fairly typical of what's happened in this whole neighborhood. So the original buildings, the original homes down here were so nicely done that, you know, oftentimes they just redo the existing product but maintain the maintain the integrity of the 1930s design in many cases. Again, that's looking north. This building right here, the Hilton, is a deal that is exclusively studio units, and this building sold, I'm going to say it was maybe 18 months ago, and I don't know how well this is going to show up, but even though these were studio units and they sold a while ago, this place sold for, I believe it was in excess of 40,000 a unit and close to $100 a square foot. Coming north again on 2nd Avenue, and we just see more of the same in terms of original 1930s single family homes on large lots that have been really nicely maintained, some of them redone. And across the street here, another residential building. This one they have turned into condos or townhouses actually, and I saw one of these online a couple of days ago. Even though it says in the sign there from the 200s, the one I saw for a 2-bedroom was 250 grand for a 2-bedroom unit. And then this building actually was one of the sales comps that I sent you, 845 North 2nd Avenue, and this place actually was built in 1914, and this sold at the beginning of 2012 for, I think it was 62,000 a unit. Here's a little bit of stuff on Roosevelt. Again, looking south, we're now at Roosevelt and 2nd Avenue, excuse me. The light rail comes down the street there. You can see where the cars are heading south, and there's a traffic light. So that intersection there is where the light rail travels. Again, really neat stuff. This is some of the high-end multi-family development I was referring to. And then just down this side street to Portland, again, some very high-end stuff. But just really kind of delightful stuff around here as far as design and personality. And then heading back west on Roosevelt, and there's more and more of these little corner shops and coffee houses, restaurants and boutiques. Here we see some more, just down this side street you can see some more nice condo development. And if I was to walk another couple of blocks, which I'm not going to do on this occasion, but we're at 3rd Avenue and Roosevelt here. And if I was to go another 3 blocks to 6th Avenue, that would get us to the Chelsea condominiums. And right here is another example of some of the really neat development that they have around here. It's really hard to find a building that's not attractive and kind of unique. Again, we just have one next to the other here along Roosevelt. As I mentioned, there's a lot of this. Here we have kind of a farmer's market. You know, with a couple of little boutiques. You know, having said what I just said, there are still a couple of buildings that haven't received any kind of upgrade. Here is a 20-unit building right on the corner of 4th Avenue and Roosevelt, which is very tired and probably would have a lot of potential if it became available for upgrading to fit in with everything else around it. You know, here again we just have a really nice kind of old brick building, and so they've built a new building next to it with the same, you know, they've tried to copy the feel of the design. Again, this is 3rd Avenue. This actually is a house that's currently used as an attorney's office, but just beautiful. Likewise next door. Across the street here on I guess I'm on 4th Avenue now. Yeah, 4th Avenue. Here's another example of a building that